price. The prime factor will be
yeah, prime factor will be probably be 6 to 5, and probably be 6 to 5 in there, and Greatest Honor will probably be 8 2 to 1. They're the only two going to take any money.
Talked to Suge on radio yesterday. He likes how Greatest Honor is coming along. You know, Greatest Honor has that pedigree. By Tappet, the half sister, the Dam's a half sister to Rags to Riches and Jazzle. So there's a ton of distance pedigree there, and he's certainly run that way.
He's a nice horse. He's a nice horse.
I think he's a nice horse, too.
To be honest with you, I thought he should have run the Remsen, and I wonder, even as a maiden, if he didn't have that table for 10. Is that the horse
10 for 10. 10 yeah, who's now on the shelf?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
like
so he was talking
horse.
yesterday about how this horse, Greatest Honor, was supposed to be coming for the Withers, and he was going to run 10 for 10 in this Holy Bull, but 10 for 10's on the shelf, so he called a little bit of an audible. And
it's a two-horse race between those two. It's whether or not you think that Prime Factor is going to stretch out. If not, Greatest Honor is a very likely winner of that race. It's hard to like anyone else, but we've got 9 to talk about here, and you need to play them through NYRA Bets. Head on over to NYRA Bets if you're not a member. Use the promo code MATCH200. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Play through NYRA Bets. Keep the money in the game. Support racing in New York. Also, want to remind people, what are we reminding them? Oh, we got a cross-country Big Five. Races 8 and 9 here, races 5 and 6 at Oaklawn, and race 8 at Tampa. Race 8 at Tampa, there's 2 Clement firsters. There's a Chad Brown first-time starter in there. They look like the dominant ones, one of those firsters. Thought there was one other horse, the Chance, in there. The stake at Oaklawn's a 2-horse race, right? There's a Cox horse. And
Coach enjoys Rocket, right?
Yeah, they're the two. And Coach looks like a prohibitive favorite in there. If somebody else wins that race, it'll be an upset. Race number, the 6th race at Oaklawn, you might want to use about 27 horses in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I thought actually the 9th race here may be the most interesting race in the card.
Fun race. You know what? It's one of the most interesting races, I think, anywhere today.
Yeah.
That's a really good race.
I agree. It's an interesting maiden race. Race number 1, a big scratch for the Pona's Dream coming out. And we'll look at Teetotaler, who's going to be about 1 or 2 to 5 in this race. And Teetotaler hasn't come out of the most exciting maiden race of all time, but she was too wide chasing against the gold rail, and I think she was compromised during the entire trip, was probably best. And with the scratch of a Pona's Dream, if you're taking a shot against this horse, you're taking a shot.
Yeah. I could not agree with you more. And like you said here, you know, when you pointed this out the last time when Stormy Cat Lady ran, I would think of the 3, Teetotaler probably had the toughest trip because she was chasing against the whole time, whereas the horse who's 3rd, who winds up in the 4-path, 5-path, she was on the rail most of the way. So, yeah, Teetotaler did a lot of dirty work and was not only chasing the leader the whole way, but was off the rail. And I mean,
she probably stuck fat here.
Yep.
I would go to the lead with her. She's much the best horse, and she's likely to win race number 1.
Nothing else to really say.
Really nothing to say. Race number 2. Race number 2. This is a race.
Andy?
Anthony's on a very special mission. Anthony is going to pick horses trained by Randy Persaud for the rest of until he wins a race.
This will not come up on the PPs. This will not come up on the camera. Otherwise, I would show it to you. I crossed them all out. When I first went through this race, I crossed the whole field out.
That's
and then when
helpful.
I went back, and I'm just, listen, this is
very
one
helpful.
of those, I'm just.
Anthony doesn't like anybody here.
Right.
But you're going to pick Randy Persaud. He's got 3 Randy Persauds, 2 today and 1 tomorrow.
I'm just going to pick the guy whose horses are running right now in these bottom level races.
2 for 30.
Yeah, I understand he's 2 for 30, but the 2 wins and a bulk of the board placings have come in like the last 6 or 7 race cards we've run. 8, maybe 8. So I'm just gonna.
I'm not knocking any.
I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with it.
It's a very, very silly race because there's absolutely nobody in here that has any form whatsoever. It's as simple as that. You've got 1 for 13, 1 for 40, 1 for 34, 1 for 33, 1 for 22, 1 for 12, and 1 for 19. And Sea to Stars is the 1 for 3. And I think you're supposed to have Sea to Stars in there because maybe the horse didn't handle a wet track.
That's it.
But who knows if that horse can run at all? The horse can't run on turf. It isn't bred to be a dirt horse, so who knows? Why did I pick Kid Chocolate? Gets a rider change to Manny Franco for this race. Did a little running against much better horses last time out. And I just took this horse. I don't have any strong opinion. I probably could use any number of these horses. It's very, very hard. I mean, Quintarelli could be favored and did have a trip back on October 25th, but also had no excuse not to win on November 15th. But the reality is if Quintarelli runs a November 15th race, he's going to win. But he's 1 for 40, and his last 2 races have been horrific. Last time he was awful. But in this field, he can win.
I don't disagree.
It's
not a lot to say about the early double.
Well, it's just not a race where you can say there are no particular trips. There's just nobody to be particularly enamored with in here. Race number 3, I thought was an interesting race, unless you just want to pick Randy Persaud, which my gentleman on my left does. Well, look at Magnetron.
I didn't do that.
Oh, you didn't pick Randy here?
No.
You picked him. Oh, that's the other race. He's not in here. That's right. I apologize. You picked him in.
It's been hard to pick him here.
You would try. Race the 6th race. My problem with Magnetron is he was entered about 2 or 3 weeks ago, somewhere in the last month, and he was scratched walking to the gate.
Yeah, but hold on. He broke through the temporary rail on the outside temporary rail from the gap. I was upstairs and I called him. He literally left leg went through the temporary rail, so that's why he was scratched.
Okay, good.
He came back and was entered
and was scratched about a week
again.
later, not even a week later. Okay. I don't know.
I don't either. Oh, I don't either. But
that's a bad race he comes out of. That's my problem with that race. And that's good information. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's bad. It's a bad race. And you pick mandatory payout. He's 2 for 27. Anthony never wins. May win here, but
I know. I gave mine the coin to look like you did, and I know, maybe it was the wet track for him last time. He just, he's run okay on the wet track, but I think overall he'd rather be on a dry track. Listen, it's hard to take a stand here.
I want the 2 forward horses.
Okay.
I want the horses that are going to be in somewhere 1-2 in this race. Mind the Coin is a very hard horse to trust. He's a horse I bet a lot, but the funniest thing is his last win is only one of his 2 wins. He beat me by a nose, right? Crushed me. Yeah, you like my Big Boy Mo that day too. It was 5-1. I don't know. He's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde, but he has gotten a mile and he's run well. He figures to be the speed. Carmouche's supposed to go with him. I think Titans will sit second. I want one of the 2 horses going to be towards the front, and they're the 2 I want, and they're the 2 I'm going to use in here.
All right.
I know Titans will has been bad. He's taking a significant drop.
And that race last time, he's not a wet. I mean, he doesn't stand up on wet track, so I may have slept him a little bit in here. But you know what? The race 2 back. Yeah, I mean, he was just running against much better 2 back, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I might have slept him. I may have slept him a little bit.
I think those are the 2 I want. I mean, not that the 3 or 1 can't win. I'm not wildly against them. I'm just sort of, I want to be forward.
They'll be for the 5 and 7. We'll be forward.
Toboggan, the first graded stakes, the meet. Is the Withers graded?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes. Yeah.
What horse won the Withers and then won the Preakness in his next start?
That would be Bernardini.
I knew.
It was all over Bernardini and his Preakness. Made a lot of money that day.
How much you still got?
0.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Bought a car with that one.
All these races, I missed races like that, and I get why we moved and we did those things, but I love the Jerome in the fall. There were some great Jeromes.
Well, when my dad had Pizzuti, he won the Withers and then the Met Mile with Dixie Brass. When the Withers was the opening day. Yeah.
Really? The
Withers was the opening day feature at Belmont.
Oh, yeah, that would be the same time.
91, 90,
sure.
90.
It was a spring race, yeah.
Dixie Brass was 92.
I mean, when Bernardini won, it was a 4-horse field. He wasn't actually favored. Dutro was favored with a horse for Sam Siegel, I think.
Yes.
One of those zealous horses or something.
Here's zealous, yeah.
Something
Turned out being a New York, he was a New York stallion for a while.
Yeah, he was.
Pete Casamia stood him at his.
He was a pretty good horse one time. Bernardini beat him like a drum.
Bernardini, I want to say Jerry Bailey rode Bernardini first time out, and I want to say it was the day he was retiring.
Yeah, it was Sunshine Millions Day. I was there.
And he said something to Tommy Albertrani when the race was over. He goes, "Boy, if I knew," something like to the effect, "If I knew about this one, I might have stuck around for another year."
I remember I was at Gulfstream that day. It was actually, I think it was the first day they opened the restaurant, 10 Palms. I was there with my friend John, and Jerry got beat at Silver Tree.
Mies's Approval beat him. He rode $1 million.
He was like 3-5 or something.
Wolfson took him over, and then that was the year
he won the Breeders' Cup.
He won the Breeders' Cup Mile.
Yeah. Cost me the pick 5. I used about 6 in there and didn't use him. Race number.
Eddie Castro. Eddie Castro rode him.
What happened to Eddie Castro?
I don't know. Hara's in Dubai. I don't know where. Wow, that's a name. He won a lot of races here. That guy, Eddie Castro. Monmouth here, Gulfstream. I don't know where he is.
I don't miss him. It's interesting.
You know what happens to a lot of these guys too? Sometimes when they become as big as me, they eat themselves out of the saddle.
I'm going to guess no jockey's ever become as big as you. I'm not sure any 2 jockeys have ever become as big as you.
That's not true. Wesley's pretty big. Wesley Ward's decent sized, and Steve Asmussen. So there it is. Boom. 1-2.
Amazing. He was a jockey. Race number 4, anyhow, the toboggan. We'll start with Share the Ride. You know, you and I have the same picks. I don't really have a strong opinion in this race, to be honest with you.
My opinion is
We'll take a look at Share the Ride winning the Fall Highway.
My opinion is kind of against my boy Pete's play call.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, he had everything go his way last time, right? But
he ran.
Yeah, I mean, he got to sit off a Happy Farm, and he caught a wet track, which he'd won 5 of his previous 8 starts over.
But there's nothing that indicates he's better than a wet track.
No, I
Absolutely
understand that,
nothing.
but he also, he obviously likes it, and like you say, more often than not, it's not about horses, it's about horses handling it. He just handles it better. He got a good setup this day. He was sitting off a horse that hadn't run in 10 months. Now, if he wants to sit today, he's going to sit off of a horse and Share the Ride, who has been putting some pretty flashy numbers up and has been pretty consistent in his races in the last 6 months. He's a real speed. Last time...
I won't be shocked.
He's a real speed, this horse. Last time, Happy Farm wasn't a real speed. I mean, he obviously not the same horse he was.
But you're right. He's got to deal with Share the Ride.
Yeah.
We'll stalk him on the outside. We'll take a look at Share the Ride winning the Fall Highway. I will say, with Share the Ride, he's going to face more speed with Pete's play call. The other thing with Pete's play call is he's got to get 7 furlongs. He's done it in the past, but is he as good at 7? But I will say with Share the Ride, he's got to put away Pete's play call and then hold off Stand the Man.
He does.
And there's an argument that Stand the Man's finally going to get a little, I don't think they're going to be flying up front, but at least he's going to get a little bit of a battle. You know what I mean? Not saying they're going to be going that fast, because they never do. But, I mean, he ran very well in that race when he was second in the Fall Highway. There was absolutely no pace whatsoever, and he was running at the end. I won't be shocked if he wins. I mean, I won't be shocked if any of these 3 horses win, to be honest, Anthony.
Of the 3 favorites, you would have to think the extra 16th of a mile today helped Stand the Man the most. Because the other 2 are supposed to hit up a little. I mean, not hit, but
that's
they're
fair.
supposed to keep each other company a little bit.
And certainly, it's in his favor. I'll put it that way. It's not going to be. It's not bad for him. It can't be bad.
I wanted to pull the trigger on Stand the Man. My problem with Stand the Man is, for the most part,
he's a little slow.
He doesn't win.
He's also a little slow.
He's a little slow. He doesn't win these races. He doesn't fit in right. When he won the Tail of the Cat, he had a dream setup the day he won the Tail of the Cat, and just swooped the group the last 3/16 of a mile or 1/8 of a mile, if you will. And then for the with these horses that are just a step, these are grade 3 horses. They're just a little too quick for him.
No, that's fair.
But he can. But listen,
he hasn't run a good figure in a while. He really hasn't run. He's been running figures in the low 90s, and the others are running figures in the high 90s. There's a real difference.
He's 7 now, and I kind of feel like he had a good 5-year-old year. He plateaued a little bit last year.
He's a super cool horse.
Yeah, really cool horse. He's a former maiden claimer. He was running around the claiming ranks here. Him in Switzerland were exchanged.
He wasn't they weren't maiden claimers. No.
Stand the Man was in maiden claiming races.
Well, he may have started his career, but he ended up those Switzerland races.
With Switzerland
races. With all those horses, not just Switzerland.
They all developed.
Wasn't pattern recognition, maybe? Was he in those races? No.
No, that was another. I think that was another Terra Nova maiden. I can't remember who it is now.
Yeah. Well, Bobby Barbera's horse was in there, too.
Yeah.
You don't talk about Joe Bucci horse. Good horse. Yeah.
I can't remember now.
But that was one of those good maiden races. I remember with Switzerland, and he kept losing, and I remember we were talking about it. And
you said that day on the show, be a graded stakes winner one day.
People think that there was a difference between him and those career maidens. Those were super tough maidens. What about American Power? I mean, you got to give him credit. He has improved. This is a big step up for him. But I'm not going to be shocked if he runs a little bit.
I know they didn't go that fast last time, but where did that horse find his speed? He was a dead closer at one point in his career, where he came from the absolute moon. Next thing you know, he's going wire to wire.
I ran into Kendrick on the way out that day, and he was laughing, and he said, because I had been joking about Kendrick wiring the field with him, and I think the other half of the entry was what may have been taking more money, actually. I think you and I both liked the other half of the entry. I think you and I were talking about it. And Kendrick said, I went in the paddock, and I said to Rob Atras, I'm going to send this guy to lead. And he said, Atras looked at me like I was crazy, which he may in fact be. And he said to me, I looked at the race and I thought to myself, the only way I'm going to win is if I can get this horse to lead, which is, I think, really a very thoughtful thing. In other words, he wasn't saying he was going to win, but he thought, if I don't do this, I can't win, so let me try something different. And that was great.
Yeah, gave him the Sadie's Lady treatment. That's when he did the same thing with Sadie's Lady a couple of winters ago. He was able to nurse her along on the front end. Listen, To me, I know he ran faster numbers from off the pace. That was his best race ever last time. I know it wasn't his fastest, but to me, it was his best race. And now, I mean, he
Pretty
can't
much.
see the lead off, so he can't see share the ride. But maybe being aggressive with him. Listen, what if Pete's play call? What if Vargas gets aggressive with Pete's play call, and him and share the ride do hook up? What about drafted?
How's he going to win? How's he going to beat Stan the Man unless Stan the Man completely fails to show up?
I mean, can one be going the wrong way and one be going the right way?
What about Stan the Man suggests he's going the wrong way?
Well, I think he plateaued last year, and I kind of think like...
But he's consistently still running decent races.
But if the other horse, third off a February layoff...
Fine. He can't win unless Stan the Man doesn't show up, which isn't impossible, but that's the point. Tommy T is the was the Bobby Barbera Joe Bucci horse.
They had another one too, right?
The race number 4, by the way, kicks off the Empire 6. I don't know if we've announced whether we're continuing or not.
I haven't heard anything.
We know we're at least this weekend. It's a mandatory payout. We'll announce whether or not that's going to change or will continue. Hopefully the mandatory is through at least into February. Race number 5 also kicks off the late pick 5. And so Nebo. I thought you would pick Nebo in here. I'm very surprised you don't have Nebo 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't this a classic Anthony Stabile? Ran a solid race on a dry track and then comes back and caught a muddy sealed track. Why don't you want this horse at all? And you're
where did this race come from?
Well, you and I both picked her second that day, so I don't know exactly what was surprising about it. We had the cold exact. I know you've forgotten.
Oh, no. Believe me, I didn't forget. This is, but she kind of chased Violent I Am around there, and...
I get it, but she does seem like a horse that probably should be somewhere in your play here. I'm not saying I love her, but isn't this a classic Anthony?
Forget about the mud. The other 2 races just were slow.
Well, it was a mile against a maiden special weight, and first time out, this horse got bet and made a move. I mean, there were reasons to like the horse 2 back. I don't love her, but I do think that she's one of the horses that can win this race. I'm just surprised you never won 2. It doesn't make you wrong. And you've got Gracefully Wide on top. I don't know. I guess. Go ahead.
Breakfast at Bonnie's came in, wins by 11.5 lengths. She gets beat a length and a half for second. So if you take the winner out, she's... listen, I know she's a long way back.
She couldn't catch Jill's Hot Mess, and then she got passed at the end. I've got her second. She can win. She's dropping down. The reason I like her is she's dropping down, and her races are verging on good enough.
I also think there's a chance she's going to want some more ground. I know she got passed last time late. I didn't love.
Well, she's not getting more ground here.
No, I understand that. She might want some more ground, but I'm hoping the drop. I'm hoping the drop's enough. Hoping the drop's enough. Again, you take the winner out last time. She gets beat a length and a half for second. So I'm hoping the drop's enough. I was between taking the 8 and the 9. I took the 9.
Yeah, I want the 8 in here. Shaker Shack. I'm almost certain this was the one they were betting in that entry. The other one was the other half. The entry was trained by Amir Shikakli. I think this horse was an international tip for Carlos Martin. Not the first one. Carlos likes his horses. This horse didn't run. I want to give this horse another chance. This is the kind of horse that took so much money first time out.
I don't love. Now, this is a drop I don't love because of what you just said.
But it's a homebred.
International. I understand, but it's still a drop I don't love.
She's a homebred. She's a homebred.
Still a drop I don't love.
She's a homebred. Just total homebred for Roddy Valenti. I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
What do you think she's worth? You think Roddy's expecting some stakes wins from her after the first race? She has to be better than that. What about firsters in here? The Glenmore, the 2? Rudy Adip 4th? There's one decent dirt horse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Distorted Humor, 85,000 yearling, running for 40. Wonder what the ROI is on horses that run for significantly less, or if it really is that relevant. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I don't know.
How about Esotica, a Lauban, for my man Kirk Wyckoff's 3 Diamonds?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything here. Kendrick, first time, Kendrick in a boot.
It's not going to take a Herculean effort by a first-time star to win this race.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You know? Sassy Melissa, I guess she's okay in here, but I don't know. I don't love that field. I don't love that field she comes out of. See, I don't like the field she comes out of. I think She's a Dirty Dancer was a drop down. It was just so much better than those. It's like nobody.
I think the interesting horse is on the outside, like you do. I'm a little surprised that that Gracefully Wild's actually the 3-to-1 morning line favorite. little surprised by that.
He's dropping down.
Yeah. I thought Shaker Shack would have been made the favorite because, like you said, Tim,
No.
even money first
he
time.
got beat 100 lengths.
Should beat 8 lengths. 9 lengths.
29 buyer. No, Gracefully Wild will probably be favored here.
I guess.
I think you better
David's usually
make
right.
sure you use Nebo in your.
David's really usually right.
Clips Awards. All due respect to IRAD, Joel Rosario should have won that award. The voters just focus on money.
I think it's hard to argue.
Here's one that.
It's hard to argue against him. I
don't think it's hard at all.
You can argue for Joel, no question about it, and I could argue for Joel too, but
it's not all about who won the most money.
No, it shouldn't be.
And the voters just look at money. Honestly, I don't agree with the trainer. Chad Brown got 8 votes. Christophe Clement got 1. Because Steve Asmussen won a lot of purse money because of Saudi Arabia?
I voted for Chad.
He should have been 3rd. I mean, I think that I would have voted for Bob Baffert to win it. Not a knock on Brad Cox.
I voted Chad, Brad, Mike Maker.
Didn't think Baffert deserved to win?
No.
17 grade 1s? Okay. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. If the Eclipse Awards wants to ban people that get positives during the year, they should ban them.
Well, we're not given rules. So you kind of got to make your own rules, set your own parameters. And that's what I did. I didn't vote for Gamine, and I didn't vote for Bob Baffert. I voted for the other Baffert horses.
You didn't vote for Gamine?
I did not. No, sir.
There could be one of us sitting at the desk when we come back, but we'll come back. We'll see you in a few minutes or a few seconds.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Race number 6. Race number 6 is sort of a slightly better version of race number 2. And I picked Skyward Scramjet. That worked out well.
Scratch-a-reno.
Love when you do all the work, and you just copped out to Tail of Mist. He's a win machine. I mean, if any horse is a win machine, you took a horse that never wins moving up in class.
I just copped out with Tail of Mist. Well, you know how the ran the operation. What's the next race up? That's up or I go. Run.
Go ahead.
There's no go. I mean, go ahead. You said it's basically this. You know, it's basically the male, the winners, the open claiming version of race 2.
The barn was 5 for 164 last year, and you picked 2 of them today.
I picked 2 of them today. I did. Where
People
are you
wonder why I abuse
supposed to go in here?
Not the Tail of Mist.
You picked the barn that was 4 for 96 last year. I mean, give me a break.
4 for 96 is better than 5 for 164.
I guess. I guess it is.
I didn't pick this horse. I
No,
scratched
I know you
into
did, but
this horse.
still, he winds up
okay,
number 1
we're
now.
at 62. I think you beat me again, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yours won. Yeah. Yeah, yours won. You should get an extra. You don't. I'll take the 5 over the 7.
Sure. I like that.
I'll bet 1. The thing about your 7 is the horse could suck up her 3rd.
Yeah.
My horse could be last. As far as Brush Country, I mean, isn't his last race fast enough to win here? I mean, to be honest, he was involved in the pace going a mile 2 back. He cuts back in distance. He drops in class. He's running against McCarran, Zavion, Tavano. These are just better horses than these, aren't they?
I mean, I guess.
I don't love this horse. I can't sit here and defend him, but Hawaiian Noises I can't take. Fresher State I can't take. Tail of Mist, no sane person can take.
I got to tell you, and I almost flipped him around, especially after the scratch. Giodoro's job gets a lot easier with Skylar Scramjet.
It does. The problem is, can he run at all anymore?
I don't know.
No, I
don't know.
You're right. I would use him based on that.
He has to be used.
And I'm going to say something else. It's a bad scratch for your horse.
No question about it. I almost flipped him. I almost flipped him around.
Worse than liking the 3 if you actually like Tail of Mist. And I'm not worried because he's the only person on earth that likes him. The horse that I don't like, and I know he can win, is the one Storm Advisory.
Agreed.
I think people are going to see this horse and say, he's the new face. I don't want any of these. I'm sick of these. I get it. He's got one fig that makes him competitive on dirt recently, and that was in the slop at Mountaineer. I'm highly skeptical of this horse, and he's going to be short.
I'm with you, my man.
I'm not saying he can't win. I'm not going to. I don't like Taylor Miss at all. If he wins, I'll chuckle because, I mean, I don't think Hawaiian Noises and Professor Snape can win, particularly Professor Snape, but, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked by any of the others. I don't want the one as the favorite.
No, I don't either.
And I don't really want Manifest Destiny at a short price, though he can win with his perfect trip, two back.
Agreed. And
no running at all. At better field or not, he did no running.
Agreed.
I mean, he can win. I guess you could argue he's the logical local. At least he had, you know, recent races that were good enough.
I mean, we both have him third, but I think that's more of a function of not really.
Well, who's in the race?
Yeah.
I had him fourth.
Right.
I scratched.
Yeah.
We'll see. See what happens. Race number 6 kicks off the late pick 4. Race number 7 is a very, very, very tricky race, I think. We'll take
the late pick 3 was. I thought the late pick 3 was solid today. The last 3 races, solid.
Oh yeah, they're the best. I agree with you. I totally agree.
Sequence.
I thought they were the best betting sequence of the day.
Yep. Might do that for the first time in a while. My biggest investment of the day might be in the late pick 3 today.
We'll take a look at Malibu Pro finishing second, and somebody Roman Union finishing fourth. Actually, the Roman Union ran pretty well in this race. I don't think he's impossible. What do you think? Cutting back a little bit. You know, he came back in 10 days off this tough race. He ran actually pretty well in this race. Comes back just 10 days later, you know, and he throws in the clunker. But now you give him a little less distance in cutting back. Malibu Pro, I actually think Malibu Pro ran very well last time. Because that was the day with the heavy wind from the west, which you almost never see, a direct headwind. It seemed like nobody was gaining any ground. I don't think speed was good.
And he didn't really break. It says light bump, so he just really didn't break. And
he just kind of dropped out. He broke fine. He just sort of dropped out.
He never he never got going.
He did. I disagree. I think he made a real move.
Oh, at the end?
No, he made a real move around the turn. I just don't think you can gain ground the stretch. No, he made a run. Incorrect. Watch the race. He made a run in there. Here's my question for you. Okay, I know you pick Kumar every week. Eventually, you'll be right about it.
I don't pick Kumar every week. You're the guy that picks Kumar more than me.
No, I liked him when he won. You didn't like him at all that day. You picked him next
I don't pick him.
You picked him 2 back. I don't know if you picked him last time on top.
No, I picked.
You definitely picked him 2 back.
I picked Malibu Pro last time.
You did. I think you did.
I picked him second.
Second. Whatever.
I was live in the pick. That was when Mad Money's wanted to pick 62,000.
So anyhow.
I picked Kumar today because last time in the Mad Money's race, Jorge Vargas was very aggressive with Mad Money's. He put him on the lead and he got the money. This horse didn't show any speed.
But he got beaten 4 lengths by the 4.
I understand that. I'm just hoping that he puts Kumar into the game today. Andy, I had a
tough time. Based on what?
I had a tough time with this race.
He has no speed anymore.
I'm going to tell you what. You're right about Roman Union, but I still don't. I don't know. He's been kind of tailing off. The race 2 back was okay, but I don't know. He's kind of run some.
Well, he did come back in 10 days off his race 2.
I don't disagree.
He's a horse that came off a 9-month layoff. He runs a big race at 1 mile and 8, and then he comes back 10 days later. I don't love to make excuse for bad efforts. I think that's a viable excuse.
You might be right.
You say he's tailing off. I say that's not fair because he ran very well 2 back.
You think he had a? I mean, I don't know.
Coming back in 10 days off a 9-month layoff at 1 mile and 1/8 of a taxing effort, he didn't suck up in his race 2 back. He was attending the pace, and the pace fell apart in that race, Ant. He actually ran okay in that race. Put it this way, if you didn't have his last race, I'd probably like him in here.
If he didn't have his last race, I'd have him 1, 2, 3.
Well,
you're not
coming
wrong.
back in 10 days, man. That's pretty quick. I'm not in love with him.
The Malibu Pro, maybe you're right about the gaining ground, but I still.
I just don't see how I can't take Kumar. Kumar will be a bigger price. It's fine. I'm not saying I don't think he can win, but I know David likes him too, and I respect that. Respect you like him. I don't like this horse. I just don't think he's good enough. I don't see how the winner, somebody in this race, doesn't run a race too fast. That's my concern.
Right. Based on the logic,
the 1, the 4, the 7.
He would need a lot of horses. I don't disagree.
Too many horses to not run it, not run near their
You might be
races.
right about that.
That's what worries me about him.
I'm hoping, when he fires his best shot, he's competitive in here. And he's going to be probably the best price of
Here's
the
my
horses.
question to you. David has him 5-1. How can he be that short?
Because
You think he'll be that short?
I don't know what he's going to be. Listen, let me ask you a question, okay?
That's too short a price.
He's got Malibu Pro 2-1, and he has Limonite 5-2.
Isn't Family Biz supposed to be a shorter price than Kumar?
Now, the problem with Family Biz is you want to talk about a horse that's going the wrong way. This horse is not going good right now.
No, well, he caught a muddy track last time, but that's fair. He didn't run well two back in the fog. I agree. I thought his races. Here's a problem, and it's a good point I hadn't really thought of. We were talking about the Sound beforehand, who won a photo.
Yep.
The Sound certainly didn't run back to his sort of hard to understand.
In his defense,
107.
he went a mile on the 16th and he went 2 turns. He might not be a distance horse. He might be a 1-turn, just keep
right,
throwing
but in his
12s
defense,
at him.
in his lack of defense, I don't know where that 107 buyer came from. It was a genuinely fast race.
Agreed.
This Aqueduct track is tricky. It's not the figures wrong, it's the track is goofy.
Track is goofy.
The track is making it hard for figure
part of
makers.
the reason the track's a little goofy, if I'm to understand the history of the old inner and the composition of this track, is the weather. It hasn't had a lot of. I think that's part of it.
I don't agree because Anthony, until this week, we've been consistently mid to high 30s or low 40s. Actually, it's been a very easy winter. I'm
trying to say it hasn't had to handle the elements it's built to handle. So I think it's reacting a little differently.
It's a base. It's the base. It's slow. It's a very different track in the inner anyway. It's much slower than the inner used to be.
Right, but the composition of the actual dirt is similar to that of the inner.
It's dirt. There's nothing in the dirt.
I just think it's not reacting.
The difference in the inner and the main was the base. It's the base, the limestone base, the base. It's nothing to do with the composition of the track. You can ask Glenn. Glenn will tell you that.
Okay.
That's always been a misnomer about the inner, that there was some sort of antifreeze in it or something. It's all nonsense. No, I don't agree. I think the problem I've had as somebody who does the track trends every day, there have been some weird days here, and I am not a believer that the track is changing during the day. I mean, it may change a little bit as the day goes on, but from race to race, and it's not like they're doing something changing.
And it's visually deceiving, too, because there were days when...
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
There's days like December 18th where I'll take 3 races and tell you the rail was dead. I'll take 3 or 4 races and tell you the rail was gold. There have been some very weird days. Recently, there have been days where I have to say the track is fair. It's a mixture of running, but there's races recently look like outside flow races. There are races that look like inside track, yet people run inside, so I don't know. It's weird.
It's a deceiving. Even when, like the 2 weeks I was up in the booth, I thought these horses were going a lot faster than they were actually
Hard to
going.
know how fast they're going to watch.
Well, I'm just saying, you're used to watching these races, and then you look at the times, and then there would be days, and it's like you said, like, you know, people would call, how do you think the track is? I don't have an answer for you because it's almost like there were many days, like for 3 races, like you said, the inside was good. For 3 races, it wasn't good.
It's not, no. It's interspersed. It's the first, third, and 7th where the inside looks bad. And it's other races. It's not that it's changing from early to late. It's interspersed in the card. It's very confusing.
It's very strange.
The number 2, Limonite, is the 5 to 2 second choice. I don't like this horse at all.
You didn't like him last time, and you were 100% right about him. He didn't run 2 steps last time.
And I'll tell you something else. He moved wide on the second turn. He was on the rail. He went 2 to the rail in the first turn. He spent a lot of time on the rail. I don't get this horse. He wins an off-the-turf race at Churchill. Big deal. He's Space Mountain. It's a turf horse. I'm not a big fan of this horse. I think these are much better horses than he was running against. It's Mike Maker, so he always scares me, but I don't like that horse. Race number 8. I was interested in horse who scratched in race number 8. Wow. Way against Galani Brigade. Well, you got to pick South Africa. I mean, you got to be consistent. Ever since I picked him, we were in second. You picked him 4 straight.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah.
This is 4 straight.
I just picked
This is 4 straight.
That's incorrect. I picked Jerry the Nipper 2 starts back. I picked.
Oh, you did. You definitely picked him last time.
I didn't pick him. I didn't pick him.
When he won?
I didn't pick him when he won.
You didn't?
No.
Picked him last time.
I picked him first or second last time.
You picked him first, just
Yeah.
last time.
All right. So it was once.
I think
that's about right. 4 times or 1 time. Yeah, it was once.
I thought you picked him
Nope,
another time.
I didn't.
I was trying to give you credit for a win.
No, I
You
picked
wouldn't
Jerry
take
the
it.
Nipper the day Jerry the Nipper got
He ran
involved
great.
off the.
He could
off
be
the
he could be headed to stakes. He looks
Yeah.
good. I think he's just a suck-up horse. He can win, but I don't think he's very good. I don't like him. I don't think he's good enough. I don't like him. Picked him second.
Picked him second. I don't think he's good enough.
No, I picked a 5 second. I picked a 5 second. I got
You're
scratched
the
in
guy who, when we had to talk about Galani Brigade 2 starts back, how maybe he's not a 6 furlong horse, maybe he's a 7 furlong horse. And then I don't know what happened last time.
Well, we'll discuss that in a second. We'll take a look at his race on October 3rd when he ran a race. Oh, you did? Thanks, Francisco. I wasn't even paying attention. You might have wanted to wait till we talked about him, Francisco, to show it. Then I would have.
Oh, yeah, I showed it.
Want to show it again? What happened to Galani Brigade? That's obviously a reasonable question. Now, I obviously never asked Chad Brown about this horse, but I think there's a pretty reasonable determination to be made. This horse, after his last race, did not work again until December 4th. This horse must have been sick. He must have come out of that race sick. He was awful in that race. There's no question about it. Oh, there it is again.
That's what common sense dictates here. Because he didn't miss enough.
Well,
he didn't miss
missing
a ton
all
of time.
that work, missing the right. He's not out like he had an injury. Something went wrong last time, and I just think
he was very dull. And right, you can hear it now. What happened to Galani Brigade? Well, they stuck the scope down his throat and it came back covered in mucus.
But something, I mean, for him to have not worked for a month after that race.
Couldn't agree with you more.
You know, I mean,
he's not gone 5 months.
Right, and he was running. I mean, he ran 6 weeks, 5 weeks. You know, he ran back.
He ran when the race came up.
It wasn't like they were. You know, he was babying this horse. It's not. You know, it's. So I have to. Anthony, I don't blame you for picking against him. I don't trust him either. I'm not.
I'm using him, but I don't trust him as a favorite. He will be the favorite. He will be the favorite in this race.
I'm annoyed because I really thought that Blind William Tell was a very interesting backup. I don't like Silly Key. I don't like South Africa. They can win. I got him second and third. I don't really like them. But I don't know where else to go.
Silly Key kind of woke up last time. I liked Silly Key's race last time.
Did he wake up, or was it just not that good a race?
I thought he woke up. I thought he woke up a little bit.
Maybe.
I did. I thought he woke up a little bit.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to...
I think Galani Brigade is... I know his best race is when he's on the lead, and he obviously can't see the lead in here.
Well, he can, but he probably won't.
Right. I mean, he's going to pay the price of, he's got Bronx Bomber.
Well, we'll see what Daneberry does going shorter off the layoff.
Right, but I would have to imagine that the plan here is to get a race into Daneberry, and the way to get a race into a speed horse off a layoff is to put him on the lead. So.
And the thing with Bronx Bomber is Manny has no choice. Manny has to go.
He's between the other two horses.
I probably would have picked him second if I knew the 5 was going to scratch. So I'm kind of annoyed I didn't have him second in here. He ran okay last time. He just can't win rating. And he was 6.5 last time. I'll use him a little bit. I like 1-2.
Cutback helps him.
I don't blame you.
You like 1-2. You picked 1-4-7-2.
I know, but that's why I picked one. No, I picked a 1-5.
1-5.
Well,
you picked a 1-5-4-7, but you like 1-2.
Yeah, but the 5 scratching screws me up. I didn't like the 4 and 7 that much.
It's just the 5 scratching screws you up.
No, but the 5 is
in this race.
The 5 is my backup. I don't really like the 4 and 7. The 5 is my backup.
Fair enough.
I changed. There's different situations of why you put horses second. Sometimes you want them as a backup.
Well, that's why it's great to have a format like that. They have a forum like this because you can explain. Some races were up here. And I'm picking horses that I think are the horses to win to get through a pick 4 or pick 5 sequence. Sometimes I want to bet the exacta.
Of course, absolutely, I agree. Race number 9, you could blow me over with a feather. I cannot believe that you didn't pick Clemenza 1-2 in this race. I mean, I had you pegged as absolutely loving Clemenza today. I would have picked him on top. I was sure you were going to pick him today. I think he's so much the worst to beat in this race, it's not funny. I thought he ran very well last time out. Ran as well as anybody in there. Oh Trouble beat a weaker field quite easily. The winner of this race came back and ran 1 buyer point, I think, lower or maybe higher in running second, beating a photo in his next start. I think this horse is very legit. I don't know why they ran that horse on the outside of the turf in his next race. He got drowned by a nice-looking horse.
Maggie here today?
Maggie is here today.
So I always defer.
We'll show you the stat also. They have incredible stats. How about this one? Their stretch out numbers are sensational. Oh, you don't think this horse wants to go the distance?
I think this horse to me looks like a sprinter.
Did you tell John Atfield, your buddy?
I haven't.
What an idiot he is for running under a mile?
No, I want to hear what Maggie has to say about this horse. I'm actually going to talk to Maggie.
You're not going to be able to find that out before the pick 5. I'm telling Maggie she's not allowed to speak to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to speak to her.
That'll work.
Cut that relationship.
That'll work. Yeah.
Maggie's loyalty will extend right to me.
I feel like he just looks like a sprinter.
Ridiculous.
I don't know. I'm going to use him.
I think he looks like a winner. But I like continuation a little bit. continuation on the synthetic last time out. This was the good continuation. I know he lost it 1-2. I know he lost it 1-2. I'm going to hope that he can get back to that good form he showed in his first 2 starts, and he got a prep on the synthetic last time.
It's another horse. Man, this horse has just gone continuously backwards, Andy. I worry about this horse. I liked this horse last year too, but you know, he ran three in a row to start the year. You see the 2.5 month. Now I know it was a COVID break, but there was no COVID break from May to January. So
okay, but he comes back and he runs in synthetics.
He got the 2-turn synthetic.
Good number synthetic, 3-11.
3
to 11, 6ing the board, synthetic to dirt.
Good luck with him.
Okay.
I think he's going the wrong way.
Okay, why do you like mandatory?
So I thought mandatory ran. I know the race did not come up fast and he got beat by a filly, but this horse was running off a 14.5 month layoff, caught a muddy track.
Okay.
I know he had a good trip, and I know he probably should have
Actually, he
won.
didn't. He was on a dead rail. The reason to like mandatory is mostly because he was on a dead rail last time. But forgetting about that, why do you like him?
I like him because he was gone all that time, and he still ran a bang-up second. Now he cuts back. I always thought this horse was going to be okay. This horse was considered to be one of the better ones in John Campbell's barn. And
you don't think this field is significantly better than the one he ran against last time?
Well, I think it has the potential to be, but the but is,
I don't like this horse.
I think continuation's going the wrong way. I don't know anything about the.
He's second off a layoff.
I don't know.
What do you mean he's going the wrong way? Second off a layoff.
From the start of his career, he's just gone the wrong way.
He ran against some pretty good maidens.
I know he did, but he also didn't do a lot of running in his.
Ran against some pretty good maidens. How are the maidens he ran against compared to the maidens that mandatory ran against last time?
Hold on a second. You think he did a particularly good, big amount of running in the Will Sing for Wine race?
Okay.
I don't think he ran
We're
okay.
well enough to be a contender here.
He ran terrible in the per capita race, and then he was gone, and he got beat down at Turfway on the synthetic.
On synthetic.
Listen, he's for you. But where I'm coming from,
if the maiden purse was $26,000, do you really think he ran him at Turfway in a $26,000 maiden race and that
no,
boy, I really hope I win today?
No, and you and I talked about this, that Christophe Clement shipping a maiden up Peter Mara run from Payson Park. I understand what you're saying.
Last time he wanted to win today.
I understand.
I'm not saying he has to win.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I still don't like him. If I think Clemens is going to have issues getting the distance. I mean, Mystic Knight. Did Mystic Knight do a particularly big amount of running in either of his starts? No. I mean,
no, Mystic Knight, and I don't trust that race he comes out of.
So,
I'm not, not impossible.
Mandatory second off, getting back to, maybe you liked the mud last time. I don't know. You brought up the rail.
Well, he was on a bad rail.
I think cutting back to the mile, second start off the long layoff.
That was a bad field last time. That was a bad field. I mean, look at the horse he photoed with Ajar.
I know. Listen, I know.
Maybe he's ready to go, though.
His effort.
I don't disagree. It's a 1 1/8. He was on a dead rail. I get all that. I don't think there's anything wrong with anything you said. I just don't like the race he comes out of.
That's
and
fine.
I think this race is significant.
Well, she came back yesterday.
Aren't you scared of 5-tool player here?
She came back Thursday and ran in the 42 Life as opposed to running in an allowance race, and Dave Duggan did the right thing because she ran a slow.
She got claimed.
Ran a slow for
I think she got claimed.
I'm sure she did. With all the conditions left, I'm sure she did.
Good luck to her games with the conditions.
I don't disagree, but out of town,
So let's talk about 5-tool player.
Yeah, what do we do with him?
Well,
4-year-old didn't debut until the end of.
So 2-year-old that sold for $900,000 after working 10 flat. One of the 3 foals from the dam were good. The foal was terrible. The dam ran buyer figures in the 80s. I don't know. I didn't even love the 10 flat workout this horse had. I'm wondering why they paid $900,000 for this horse, to be honest with you. I wonder what Maggie thought of this work. I'll have to ask her what she thought of this work, because I didn't love this horse's work.
Maggie's not going to talk to you before the pick 5.
Yeah. You lost that bet there, big boy.
So.
About Johnny Pump getting back to a fast track. I just don't know.
No, I don't want Johnny Pump.
Well, his race at Monmouth was pretty good.
Yeah. Say that again?
His race at Monmouth was good.
There you go.
I don't like the horse who won the race, a good horse.
I guess.
You're completely wrong.
I guess.
Completely wrong about this. It's a very silly comment.
And he was terrible last time.
He may not have liked the mud.
Maybe.
You're a guy who uses the mud as an excuse all the time. He was bad last time in a bad race. I agree. But you like that race more than I do because you've taken mandatory out of it. I don't think you can like mandatory and completely dismiss Johnny Pump.
He's had a lot of chances.
No, yes, he's had 3 chances on dirt, 2 on dry dirt.
But even when Chad Brown had this horse, started on turf,
not a turf
2
horse.
races on dirt,
He was wrong to run
took
on
him
turf.
out of town to run him on dirt.
He was wrong to run on the turf. He was right to sell him, but he wasn't wrong to run on turf. He was wrong to run him on turf. It's not a turf horse. He's never run a good race in the turf. Never really picked up a hoof. Better dirt horse. I don't love him, but I wouldn't be surprised when he runs better on a dry track, that's all.
Okay.
I tell you what, I'm going to go, I actually like Mandatory more than him, but I'll bet you a lunch that he beats Mandatory.
Johnny Pump?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm feeling, that's what you get as your present
For,
because your horse won.
For Rocco Strong?
Yeah, that's your present. Do you feel better?
Not really.
You sticking around other than go see Maggie? There's no way you're going to see Maggie's. That would require you actually making the effort to walk down to the office.
No, that's why.
So you stopped
that's
by
why
the office the
Lord
other day.
made,
It was very exciting.
Cell phones. I'll text Mark.
No, Maggie must have blocked you on her phone by now. Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm going by Phil.
Phil?
We're not smoking.
Maggie might take Phil's call, but
We're
she's
not
not
going
taking
to
yours.
smoke.
Anyhow.
Maggie, I actually have a nice picture of Maggie and Phil from Dinner and Derby a couple of years ago.
There you go. There you go. Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member. Use the promo code MATCH200. We will match $200 of your initial deposit. Support racing in New York. Keep the money in the game. Play through Naira Bets. You want to say it? Don't say it, Anthony. I know you want to say it, but don't say it.
No, 5th.
That was a hang job.
That was a hang job and a half, right?
We'll watch you a race from Gulfstream
Wow.
here, in case you didn't figure it out. Cross Country Big 5. Races 8 and 9 here. Arguably the 2 best races, most interesting races on the card here.
Sure.
Races 5 and 6 a stake. I think races 5, 1, and 3 look like the 2 at Oaklawn. Race number 6 at Oaklawn looks like all of them. And race number 8 at Tampa, there's one that ran, I thought, that had run okay, and there were the 3 firsters.
3 firsters.
Anyhow, that's it. And all those races will be on America's Day at the Races. And if it was nice, we had a slate for it. We could tell you about America's Day at the Races from 1:30 to 6:30 today.
Put it out. I retweeted
FS2,
it, yeah.
FS1, whatever. It's all there. Be
Go
on
to
today and tomorrow.
Naira.com. They got the TV schedule up.
All right. We good?
Yeah, with a minute to spare.
All right.
With speed to spare.
Johnny
the old
I,
comment used
up
to say.
next, the reprise, the scratches and changes.